So day 2 of the new expansion, we're starting to see some of the classes pull ahead in terms of how much they are played and how strong they are compared to some others. Abyss turned out surprisingly strong. I guess looking from the set of cards they got, it didn't seem immediately obvious to me at least that it was gonna be this dominant. Or not dominant, but like this prevalent in the meta, but I guess Abyss is doing pretty well, so today we're gonna be playing Evo Abyss. So let's look at the deck list we're playing for today first. So this is the list we'll be playing for today. It's not original. I got it from Jasun, a Japanese Abyss player who I will link in the description. This is a slightly modified version of the list he reached Grandmaster with. He ran Ghost Dodger instead of Belial. And what interested me about the list was that he ran 0 Belial. I ended up slotting in 1 just because I wanted to have the board clear, but I think the deck is a little less like clean because of running 1 Belial. His version only ran Ghost Dodger instead, which is interesting because that made it so Lyria will only draw a Macmillan or Belial. Belial is of course your main win con with this deck. He gives you the crest, which deals 20 damage to the enemy leader if you manage to get it off. And aside from Belial, it also functions quite decently as like just a regular mid-range deck. You can definitely just pressure and kill your opponent without having to rely on Belial. In fact, with Belial not in the deck, that might even be the main way that you are running the deck. So other than those cards, we run a lot of new cards in this list, which is one of the reasons why I like it. We have Heart to Night Song, which helps you clear followers, helps you clear Willness as well sometimes. If you manage to damage the Willness some other way a little bit first, this can finish it off. High Wire Feline helps you deal with early aggression. Both Sword and Abyss like to go wide right now, so having High Wire Feline to answer their boards is quite nice to have. Adahime, very strong card, summons followers and you can buff all your followers. This allows you to win just by pure mid-range aggressive plays instead of having to rely purely on Belial's crest, so it's pretty nice. Nehan does something similar, but he helps you evolve followers as well. And then you have Macmillan, just does a lot of damage here. With a Ghost in your hand and a Super Evo, this is 12 damage for 10 PP, while setting up a board as well, so it's like, in that particular scenario, it's like Albert on crack. Obviously, it's not exactly like Albert, but this card is still very strong, so we run he runs 3 copies of it. And the interesting thing about this list is that your 2 cost or lower blood followers, you only have Lulumi and Lilith. By constructing a deck this way, Adahime will guaranteed pull both of them, which means that you can get a guaranteed source of bats for healing. And she gives them Rush as well, so if you have 8 play points, you can play Adahime, trade Lilith and Lulumi, then play the 2 bats you get off of them, super evolve her to buff the bats and just heal for 6 that way. And you can do similar things with Nehan with buffing the bats that you get, which is why we have a lot of bat generators in this deck. So yeah, that's the idea for the deck. You can play both as mid-range and like sort of a Evo-based endgame with Belial. So yeah, with the gameplay, I will showcase both versions. So let's look at the gameplay I have for you today. So our first match here is against Abyss and we are going second. Honestly, when I kept Belial in my hand when I was playing this game, but honestly I'm kind of iffy on keeping Belial. I feel like it's better to go towards a more mid-rangey aggressive win con. It's a bit more reliable than Belial. Belial was a bit slow right now, so I'll only do things like keeping Belial on matchups that you know are gonna be slow and take some time. Which is not Abyss, cause mid-range is the more popular deck between mid-range and Evo right now, so I would just assume that it's mid-range unless you have a reason to believe otherwise. So for that reason, I just go ahead and coin Lyria here just to contest the board, because if I take too much chip damage, they might run away with the game later on. So in order to try to prevent that, I just coin Lyria here to start contesting board. For some reason, we go ahead and drop Skeleton here. There are arguments for keeping Skeleton for Nehan. In this case, I think having followers on board to answer their stuff is a bit better, so that's what I do. Pick out Heart to the Night Song here, which is great. We can go ahead and use that to clear their board here. It doesn't have to full clear. It makes it more accessible to clear with something like Vivati next turn. If I didn't end up having to coin the Lyria early on, I might have coined High Wire Feline. Coining High Wire Feline, it can be pretty good against these kind of aggressive decks. Obviously, if you're on your turn 4. Alternatively, if you are playing against a slow matchup, you can do things like coin Vasaraga. In this case, not really relevant though. Someone drops Charon here, which will summon a bunch of followers and they will evolve it as well. Pretty strong board from them. Thankfully, we have high wire freeline to answer this. Also, thankfully, we won the 50-50 on this to cause reanimate. If it summoned out the other follower whose name I can't remember instead of Lulumi, then they will have one skeleton on board. So, little bit of a tiny bit of luck there. I guess it sort of balances out since now they have a bat in hand they can use to heal at some point. My opponent plays Hark to the Night Song of their own here, and they will spend the shadows to ping me in the face as well. And we take some damage here. My opponent will line up a bunch of bats here onto the board just to apply some board pressure on me, I suppose. This time my hand isn't super great, so I decided to just draw into my deck more and just stick a sort of slower turn here. We can use the Rotting Zombie to clear. I kept Lulumi on board here instead of the skeleton. I don't really think it matters too much. My opponent will use Allure of the Mightiest to hit me with my own Rotting Zombie, I guess, which is a bit unfortunate. Go ahead and drop Bibati here though. We can keep drawing into our deck as well as advancing Belial. I will point out, I'm pretty sure playing Bibati here was quite a misplay. If you look at Belial, he was at 10 Super Skybound Art at this turn. So if I played something like Lilith, and then coin out Nehan, I could evolve 3 times, get this to 13. Next turn at the start I'll be 14 and I can play a 1-cost follower and evolve that and then drop Belial to activate his crest as soon as possible to minimize the chance of them killing me with something like spamming the Macmillan. So yeah, definitely a big misplay going Bibati here, but I guess that's what I decided to do for some reason. My opponent goes Fickle Necromancer here. It's fine, and they will use Charon as well. Just go ahead and set a board for relatively little investment from them, which I guess is good for them. This time we'll go ahead and use Nehan to finally get our Belial Skybound Art active. Bit late, but you know, better late than never, I guess. Unfortunately, I will not quite full clear this board, but it's probably not too big of a deal, I hope. And there's the Macmillan from my opponent. It will deal us a lot of damage here. Another problem with Macmillan is that his animations take so long in the replay, so like I just have to just sit there and watch it happen. But I guess it's not really a big deal. They're gonna go ahead and evolve Skeleton as well to hit us in the face. Normally, if you're playing against a slow deck, this is where you just go Belial Super Evo, next turn Belial Super Evo, and you just win the game off of that. In this case though, if I go Belial Super Evo here, and if I try to do that, they'll have 2 turns to kill me, and with Belial not giving me any healing and me only being at 11, or I guess an effective health of like 13. No, effective health of 12, I'm pretty sure they can kill me in 2 turns quite easily, so even though it's telling to just go Belial Super Evo, Belial Super Evo, I just go for the safer play here, which is to Super Evolve the bat to heal and then drop Belial after that. And the crest is active, so now I just have to stall. There's another Macmillan from my opponent here. I'm going to take a lot of damage here, but we can keep in mind that they only have 1 Macmillan left, and we are relatively safe, I guess. Well, not safe, but not as bad as things could be. Yeah, then they go trading into my board here, dealing me a ton of damage. You can see Ghost pairing very well with Macmillan here to deal a total of 12 damage. So actually, if I didn't heal there, I would have died. So that's pretty funny, I guess. So this time we definitely need to heal, so I go ahead and draw Adahime here. She's guaranteed to summon Lulumi and Lilith, as I talked about earlier, which means that we can get a bunch of bats off of them. And then we can go ahead and Super Evolve Adahime to buff them so that we can heal for a nice 9 health. And then Xenophon's Crest will heal me for a little bit more. Unfortunately though, they are ahead in terms of Super Evo, so I have to watch out for that. Although with Belial, we should be able to clear some boards, especially, and we also have Macmillan as well, so that's some really decent board clear potential here. But now my opponent's turn is quite slow, which I'm very happy to see. So this time I'm now going Macmillan here. There is an argument for trying to weave in Adahime here. Although if you realize, I've already spent all my 3 Liliths. So if I play Adahime here, I only get a Lulumi, so it's not that much more healing. Plus without Super Evo, all the bats only heal 1. So because of that, I ended up prioritizing Macmillan here, who will give me some wards so they can't go phase 2 freely. There's Lyria. It's fine, and they will get Beastmaster Bones here. Presumably they drew Beastmaster off the Lyria. And they will use their Beastmaster as well as a bunch of their stuff. Here are a bunch of my followers. It takes some damage here. And they're gonna Super Evolve Beastmaster Bones to destroy one of my followers, while summoning another zombie for themselves. And now we are quite low here. Although, important to note here, my opponent has 4 bats, as you can see, from 4 cultivators destroyed, and no Ghastly Sauri's play, and they've already played 4 ghosts, which means they don't actually have a ghost in hand right now. So we are safe from Macmillan plus ghosts, and Macmillan's maximum damage is at 6 right now, so we are actually quite close to it, but we are fairly safe from dying. So all we need to do is just make sure we don't die next turn and we win off Belial's crest, so that is the idea here. So we'll just go ahead and focus on answering board. I tried to draw my Belial in case I could reanimate a bat, but in hindsight, since I have a bunch of Liliths destroyed, there's a good chance I just whiff on that reanimate anyway. So I guess Macmillan is maybe the safer play here. Just set out a bunch of wards so I can't die to any surprise storm cards like Rulana and Valneric or Odin or anything like that. Yeah, setting up the wards here is just a fairly safe play, I think. So go ahead and do that, and we just pass, and my opponent can't answer this, so they just concede. So our next match here is again against Abyss. This time we are going first, though. Generally, I don't like to repeat the same classes when I do these videos, but this was the best gameplay I had for showcasing the mid-range game plan, so I guess you have to sit through another mirror. This time it is Evo Abyss. Oh, it ends up being Evo Abyss, which you will find out later, though. Spoilers, I guess, instead of mid-range, but I just assume that it's mid-range from the start, so keep Wing Servants the contest board early and then Highwire Feline, because I will definitely need to answer a board on turn 5. Here, Ghastly Soiree here, and then we just play and drop the skeleton as well. Again, I'm assuming this is mid-range, so I need to contest board early. Actually, against Evo also, like, as you can see from the cards that I'm running here in this deck as well, even Evo Abyss like sort of lines up followers early game, so I guess whether it's against mid-range or Evo, you still need to sort of keep cards to contest board early on. So that's what we go for, I guess. Keep the skeleton. We are slightly ahead currently, so I thought I would be better off saving the skeleton for Nehan value, or maybe other Hime value, depending on what's required later on. My opponent uses Fickle Necromancer as well as a bunch of ghosts and stuff to clear my followers, which is fine. We're going to go and drop Highwire Feline as we planned earlier to clear this board. You can see if I played the skeleton last turn, I would have full cleared their board, which I don't think is that important right now. The full clears only really start mattering once Super Evo turns are up. This skeleton is not... well, actually the skeleton ends up making a difference, funnily enough, because it allows Vasaraga to clear the feline. So maybe I should have dropped the skeleton there. Hard to say. I guess you can decide for yourself what was the better play there. We go ahead and drop Highwire here to pop their Vasaraga just to ping them for a bit of damage, and then we can evolve the skeleton to hit them in the face. At this point, it is probably not a good idea to rely on Belial with a hand like this, so I just go ahead and hit face. I played the Ghost there to hit face. I think that was a misplay. It's probably best to save Ghost to pair things with things like Adahime, Nehan, or Macmillan, so yeah, probably not a good idea to waste the Ghost there. Especially since it doesn't even convert to shadows, so like there's not even that aspect of it available. So I'm planning to use Belial to clear my board here, which is fine, I guess. We can go ahead and take this chance to set out our own Vasaraga. Abyss has terrible luck against against Intimidate followers, which is why I guess Abyss has trouble clearing Vasaraga as well, so it's pretty funny. So you drop Lyria here trying to find Macmillan. We end up picking Fedial instead, which is completely fine here. We can go ahead and use Fedial here. We get bats to heal with. And it also helps you debuff the Vasaraga, which is quite good because once Vasaraga super evolve, it's basically impossible to destroy your own Vasaraga. So I get to keep it debuffed here and sort of lock it into low stats, which is quite good for me. My opponent will destroy my Vasaraga here with their own Belial, so yeah, they do end up revealing that this is going to be Evo, but at this point I don't think it matters. We are both going for a more mid-range game plan here. You can see here we're quite low, so we go ahead and use these bats to heal. And I drop the skeleton here just to contest board a little bit. And just hit them in the face here. Opponent goes for Fickle Necromancer here as well as a Nehan of their own, which will allow them to heal a little bit. So this spot, I think probably going Sandalphon, Wait, did I have lethal here? Hark to the Knight is guaranteed 2 damage. Ghost is 4. Vasaraga. Yeah, I had lethal here. I just missed it, I guess. So yeah, if you are not stupid like me, go super evil, Hark to the Knight, hit face is lethal. You can even add tag on Sandalphon for more damage, but I guess I just missed it and I thought I didn't have lethal for some reason, so... yeah, don't be like me. So I end up going for Nehan instead to heal. Heal out a bunch here to heal out of their range, and we keep chipping them down with our Vasaraga. And our Ghost, I guess. When that has Gilnelis here, they will go ahead and use it to buff their Vasaraga, and then they'll super evolve Gilnelis as well. Allow them to heal out a bunch, and then drop Sandalphon to hit me for a bunch of damage as well. They're guaranteed to survive on 1 no matter what here, so we're fine there, I guess. And then here, once again, guaranteed lethal Hark to the Night Song is pretty funny. It deals 3 damage. It deals 2 damage to their face. And then it deals 6, which pops their Vasaraga, dealing them another 2 damage. Which means that I have guaranteed lethal here. I didn't realize this for some reason and I just played Sandalphon instead, which ended up killing them anyway. So yeah, that's it for this game. Our last match here is against Sword. I'll just be upfront and say this game honestly is not really very good of a showcase. I just wanted to pick this game because I thought it was a bit of a funny game. So I just picked this one. For the early game again, I just kept Belial for Sword. If it's Evil Sword, having Belial is quite nice because Sword doesn't have good ways to kill you fast enough for Belial to just steamroll them as long as you manage to activate it early enough. Ends up being enhanced though. With the addition of what's the card called? Orchestrated Silence. Evil Sword's early game is actually much better now than it used to be. So we lose the almighty finisher of Albert, but in exchange, it actually gets a better early game, which is quite nice. Yeah, Evil Sword is probably fairly solid right now still. Let me go ahead and click the Loyal Guy here and just keep poking them in the face, looking for a finish that way. Sword is one of the classes that has a lot of trouble against Vasaraga, so it's not out of the question that if you deal enough damage, Vasaraga can just run them down after that. This time we go ahead and use a Ghastly Soiree here, just set a Rotting Zombie just to sort of give them time to have to clear with their resources. If they enhance Rose here, the small zombie will survive, so that's pretty funny. Opponent will go a Serenity Shield here. Is that what it's called? And then they'll go ahead and clear my Rotting Zombie, which is fine. You can see I was still playing Ghost Dodger in this version of the deck. So we take this chance to drop Vasaraga since their board is super weak anyway, and then we just Evo Face, and again, as I said, at this point we just try to run them down with Vasaraga. Opponent will use ban on Battle Princesses here, and then this is the funny part where they just go Serenity Shield. So at this point I can just kill them with Vasaraga, so that's what I do. We just go ahead and super evolve Vasaraga here. And then hit face. So against, yeah, I guess the idea is that against decks like Abyss and Sword that have a terrible time against Vasaraga, you can just kill them with Intimidate. So those are all the games I have for you today. Hopefully it gave you some idea of how the deck works and see how some of the new cards can do some pretty cool stuff. And also how Evo Abyss kind of sort of works even without Fediana, which is quite cool. Yeah, this is the deck list if you want to try it out for yourself. Honestly, at this point it's looking like some form of Abyss, whether it's mid-range or Evo, is going to be a solid meta threat for a while. I don't know how long it will be. I don't know if they're gonna fall off, but for now it's looking like other Hime and Macmillan are fairly safe crafts if you want to spend your vows on them, although it's still early in the expansion, so treat it with some caution, I guess. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'll play regular mid-range at some point as well, but yeah, for now today we play Evo, so yeah, that's it. See you next time. Bye bye.